Hello, good evening, and welcome. Quite proud of myself, actually, that I've managed to get on time for something, because it seems these days that whenever I plan to do something, my timing, for whatever reason, seems to go right out the window. So to actually be there on time, 7 o'clock, pretty much on the dot, and be set up, ready to go, I am proud. But the thing is, and what always makes me smile when you're doing these sort of things is nobody actually sees the behind the scenes work. So about 10 minutes ago, I'm having a conversation with somebody, which will lead me on to an announcement that I'm going to make, which I'm so proud to be involved in and that I'm really looking forward to. And then, right, okay, I've got to get a shirt and I've got to get my tie on and all of this sort of thing, because when I'm working spiritually, I have this sort of thing in my mind always that when I started this 6 years ago, that there was a lady that used to take me out to the local churches, and we used to do demonstrations of mediumship around the spiritual churches and places like that. Took a look at me one day when I was attending one of her shows and said, "Don't think you're going to come round anywhere near me dressed like that." So the first show I ever went to that I did with that, I always made sure that I'd got a shirt, a tie, and a waistcoat on. And it's kind of stuck with me ever since. But what I am going to say to you guys that are watching, thanks for turning up. I don't know how long I'm going to be on. It's truthful, because it's whatever audience that I've got on YouTube tonight, because I'm a little bit slower than what I actually wanted to be prep time wise. I was going to include Facebook on there, but to be truthful, I haven't got the energy. And what I'm learning over these last few months, which have been incredibly difficult for me. So not only am I going through my own personal stuff, which I don't want to open out onto here, but also I don't know what you guys out there that are watching that have any connection with the spiritual life are experiencing. But the biggest downloads and upgrades that I've experienced, and the thing is as well, and I was just saying this to my lovely friend on Fortune Cookies, so she's listening out there in the car. Thanks for listening in. Evening, Dizzy J, hope you're well. Hiya, Emmylou, hope you're doing really well. Yeah, is that we were just talking about energies and going into how we're experiencing things. Well, the energies around me have just been incredible, and everything that I've achieved, he says in inverted commas, it's been a bit of a right, I'm in the right place at the right time. So all of this energy wise that I'm struggling with, I've got to believe that I'm in the right place to experience it. I ask HQ, as I call them, what was actually going on, and what they told me was I'm going through this purging stage where I'm getting rid of all of this stale energies and thought patterns that are no longer useful. Well, that made sense with me, because my favorite card in the tarot deck is the Tower, and the Tower is all about taking down old thought structures and old thought patterns and releasing things that are no longer any good to you, and then rebuilding in your own image. So it's quite one of those ironic things where I think, bloody hell, yeah, it makes absolute sense. But at the end of the day, I'm just one human being, and I started out doing these channels, this tarot work and all of this sort of stuff, because at the heart of what everything that I want to do is I want to help people. So I give my energy, and I sit here and I tell the truth to people, right? I'm sat in my house here now in the room that we decorated to be a treatment room. And the reason I'm telling you this is because when I started with all of this, somebody asked me about doing a reading, and they live quite a long way away from me. So what I said was, well, I'll do you a call on Zoom or a call on Messenger or anything like that. And they went, oh, no, I don't like studios or anything like that, because you might be hiding something. And I've gone, I can assure you, I'm sat in the middle of a room on the big housing estate in Lincoln, England. And when I've got my banners up and all of the sort of studio stuff, the green screen, all you're getting is me with a green screen. So people have this funny perception about energy workers and things like that. So I've stayed true in my integrity. The last couple of months has been a struggle. But what I'm really, really pleased about is that Spirit haven't left me to it. But again, I'm only one man, I'm only one person, and I believe that everybody's got the limits. Everybody's got issues that they might be struggling with, and I'm going to just sit here and confess that I completely lost my shit the other week, and I was going to have a Tesco's tantrum, throw all my stuff in the bin, and just go, I'm not going back anymore, because I just couldn't make sense of it. Now, slowly over the course of these last couple of weeks, I'm beginning to piece things together. It is very, very, it is very, very much intensive when you're working spiritually, whether you're working with tarot, whether you're working with mediumship as a healer. Anybody that commits their energy to helping other people, if you don't get the balance right between using source energy and you start using your own, then you are going to have like physical side effects. You might have migraines, you might have fatigue, it upsets your stomach, it upsets your eating rhythms. It's all because of, I see it like a bike chain with these chakras, that when everything's running well, it runs smoothly. But if it starts to judder and your energy starts to change a little bit, there's obviously a problem going on somewhere. But the good thing about the chakra system is if you take time out to actually put your hands across the chakras, it will tell you exactly what's going on. So it could be with a relationship, or you're struggling with something, put your hands over your heart and just feel that energy, feel where you're directed to. Call in your guides and your own inspirers, and they will direct you to the source of where you need to be. So when I'm doing work here with the cards, my version of what I'm giving out there is, the cards for me always tell a story, right? They always tell a story. My guides will always tell a story. And then you have a client that comes towards you that brings you that energy, and they've got their story. So somewhere it's kind of like trying to weave everything in together so that they get what they need. So as I've been going out over these last couple of weeks where I've been doing shows, like saying to people who are sitting down and paying good money to come and sit in my energy, right, what are you looking for? And because the power and the energy that I'm now accessing is way above everything I've experienced before. So I sit there and tell people the truth. If they want to discuss the more mundane side of the things, and that is what is most important to them, I'll sit there as co-host, but I want them to get the best of their money. So what I look at doing, and this is where I put in about being a therapeutic medium, is helping people access their own personal power. Once you can empower somebody, you can give them tools to improve their life, and also then pass on to other people those tools. Maybe they might adapt them and things like that. So I've been having conversations with people recently about not being competitive. Me and Anna was talking just before we came on live, and that there's enough space on this internet thing, this haunted fish tank, as my granddad used to call it, for everybody to have their own perception. We're not all going to get on with everybody else's friends and things like that. So I've had some really, really tough life lessons just recently, and I've had a lot of my stuff that I've given out over these last 6 years fired back at me. And you know what? It's really lifted my soul to go, right, so some of the stuff that I've passed on has now been passed back to me, and I'm gonna use, because it makes sense. So I came on here tonight and I just thought, right, we'll see how it goes, because it's not been particularly well planned. I just looked at the date stamp on the time that I did the last tarot, and it was 2 weeks ago. So I've been out on the nights that I would usually be doing that, and I've been back on the tarot circuit, and the energy has just been absolutely incredible. So I thought I'd come on here and share with you guys what's been going on a little bit. So and I'm just casting out again all of the little videos and that on YouTube where they're saying, oh, don't put out about like and subscribe. Right, I'm going to break the rules then, because like and subscribe my channel, because I honestly believe that when we connect with other people's energies, we don't know what's going to come out of it. So I don't look at myself as being a guide or a guru or anything brilliant or anything like that, but you're tapping into source energy, right? I don't own it. I am the conduit of that energy, and this is what I want to bring in, is upliftment to people. So it's almost like my party political broadcast, but we have a bit of fun with it, with the element of turning the cards over, because even if it's just that little pointer out of a little patch of darkness somewhere, then momentum is going to be, it's basically where you're focusing on. I mean, if he's watching at all, brilliant. Paul at the Fitness Hutch talks about where your focus goes, you know, momentum goes with it. So I word it slightly different, is where the thought process is sort of flowing to. That's where your energy will flow to as equally. So what you think is what you become. So if you've got stuck in that sort of negative thought processes, then you will experience more things to have a look at from a negative vibration. So all I look at doing is help the strong people pump the brakes at times, because if you stop somebody being in that real fast paced moment where we've got to do everything's got to be right, it's all got to be perfect and all of this sort of thing, and just go, you're a unique person, just pump the brakes a little while and have a look what direction you're actually going in. Where was you 6 months ago? Are you further closer to your targets, or are you further away? And if they say further away, well, what's been the catalyst? What's made the difference? And if you communicate with people and work with their energy, you can just get them to change that direction. Sometimes it's just minimal tweaks, and that is where my heart is. And this is why I term myself the therapeutic medium. And going forward, I'm going to do a lot more work on that. But my own task at the moment is uniting this sort of aspect of the caricature of me that does all of the live events and when I get up on stage and all of that sort of thing, and actually dealing with the real life me that has been exposed to some things just recently that have been triggered by all sorts of things, and trying to bring them all in, because I'm absolutely convinced about this, that if I can unite both sides of that energy together, then there's going to be magic. And talking of magic, so I go around the houses a little bit because that's how my mind works, because I believe I'm neurodivergent, so my head goes off onto tangents. The announcement is working with the magical 30 years of experience reading tarot cards, Annabelle at Fortune Cookies. There's going to be myself, and I believe at the moment 4 others that are going to be recording tomorrow night, that what is going to be termed the Psychic News Network. And the title's still under review at the minute, because it's like with anything with tech, it's polishing it and getting it into that right space. Annabelle's working behind the scenes furiously getting all of this lot put together, and then we're going to sit with somebody that's going to be like the compare, and there's going to be all sorts going on. And this is like talking objectively from my involvement. My feeling is that this is going to take off and be absolutely huge. It's going to be brilliant. I am so excited. I'm sat there like the little kid, because I always feel with this work that I've done that it's quite fluky. But if you look at your blueprint that you've designed for your life and start noticing the synchronicities, you start to put out things and say, right, I need help with X, Y, Z. Something will come in. Something there that you might be struggling with might go out of your life. And then you've got space to start to reconsider and start your timeline again. So for me, it's not a fluke. It's just my weird head that thinks of it like that way. So I'm so excited. So let me just check in with these comments before I lose my track, as I usually do. So, hi, Tara. Hope you're well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Tarot Destiny, thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with as well. That'll be amazing. Really, really excited. Anna, you're a cab driver. Right, okay. Right, yeah. I've got a little... it's a little car with a dad figure in it, with his eyes sort of half asleep, and it says on there Dad's Taxi, and it sits in my car on a little spring like that, so it's like a foam car like that. So it makes me laugh. I mean, my kids have all moved away, and it's rare that I have to be Dad's Taxi, but there was a time. So yeah, it's I love my kids. I absolutely love my kids. Right, so let's look at these comments. Been woken up several times in the early hours to find out TV switch on. Is this spirit's handiwork? Was work or just a tight? Right. This depends, right, on your mindset, right? So I'm just going to give you the benefit of what's going on around me in our house, right? We've just had a new sofa delivered because, bless the dogs, they managed to wear a hole through the middle of one of the seats, and plus I'm a constant fidgeter. If you notice, I talk with my hands quite a lot. I get quite agitated. That's the energy that's around me. So we needed a new sofa, and we've been waiting since late October for this sofa to turn up. So it turns up. It's a lot smaller than the one that we got rid of, but it's got these amazing recliners on. And I promise you, Carney, I will get to my point. And this sofa is absolutely brilliant. But like where we used to have all of our sort of stands with the TV remotes and things on like that, the further away, because we haven't quite got the dynamics of the room right yet. So we're still moving things. So I'm sat there this morning. Right, I have the Sky remote, which is on a table towards my left-hand side. And the wife watches all of the Netflix and all of that sort of thing. And that is on another table, which is down the other end of the room. So I'm sat there and I watch my American soaps in the morning. So I was sat there watching an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond this morning. And then all of a sudden, it went from Sky, which is where it was on Channel 4 in England. It then transferred across to Netflix. Once it had transferred across to Netflix, it then switched itself off with no warning. So my honest opinion with that is, yes, you can put an analytical mind to it and say that there's been a TV malfunction. But my sense around my house in particular is that spirit are trying to bring a message through in some way or another. So all I do in that regard is be open to it, because as long as it's not feeling negative or darkness, and touch wood, he says, and all of that sort of thing, I've never experienced any darkness in my house with that energy, because I don't work with it. I don't have that around me, and I would certainly take steps if that was the case. So my honest answer to that was no, it's not a glitch. That's spirit lifting your energy. Ask yourself this as well, Carney. Has there been opportunities for you to sort of review your work, your energy work in particular? Have you put out a call for help? Is there anything that's sort of around there that might remind you of somebody? Is there a smell that's coming in? Is there a memory link? Are you hearing the same songs on the radio? Are you getting anything through dream state or anything like that? Just reading the statement that you put on there, what I would be looking at now is journaling, diarying, and putting down whatever's occurring, because you can be damn sure that if it's spirit coming in, what they will do is they will bring you more and more information. The more that you acknowledge, the more that they will bring in. The message I'm just bringing in around you, Carney, and I hope this makes a bit of sense, is we're just giving you a bit of a G up. I feel like there's a lady's energy there that is leading the charge. So if we look at a grandmotherly type of figure that is coming in there, she's offering you protection. And when I feel that, I don't feel in any negative way whatsoever. But what I think she's actually bringing in is protection from you. I see it like the vortex moment, where we've got lots of stuff going on that we can't quite get all of the answers to. So at some point we need to slow down and take a breath, and then while the bits are still flying at you, start to have a look what you actually want out of it. So some of it is like recycling and chucking it away, and some of it is about rebuilding. All right, thank you. My guys just said reevaluating things for you. So I think my sense is around you that you're coming to a big fork in the road, that there's some big changes coming for you, but maybe you're just a little bit too nervous to get behind it. And this is like with this what we're dealing with this fantastic new opportunity. I look at somebody like Fortune Cookies, Annabelle there, that's been doing this for 30 years, and she's like, whoa. But the thing is, and this is what we've just been discussing, right? We've all been selected for a reason, right? We might not even know the reason until this gets going. You know, it's not about a fluke. It's about synchronicities that certain people's energies generate, like a big pool of energy, so everybody will benefit it. Annabelle had a lovely saying with it, which my mind's just forgotten, but it's basically all ships will rise from this, and that everybody will get a benefit of it. Well, you think about the collective of the energy in one room, or sort of on one screen coming in there, then lots of people are going to benefit from it. So this is the idea, is like bringing in that upliftment. And what I would say to you, Carney, is that this is your opportunity now to affect the energy of those around you and yourself, and your self-confidence, and just bringing in that upliftment to yourself. there's a lot for you to achieve. You've just got to get behind it. It's almost like believe to achieve that's just sat there in my mind. So I hope that makes a bit of sense. Perspective, right? Yeah, an absolutely massive thing with me. I'm not going to sit here, and I'll keep repeating this while I've got breath in my body, but I am nothing special, because that is anything that gets beyond that for me. I will then get into my ego space about needing to be placated, needing to be justified, needed to be, all of the rest of the sort of earthbound stuff that might go with it. But if I believe in the bigger picture and minimize my involvement in it, I'm there for a reason, right? I will offer my side, my skill set, my 51 years of life experience to anybody that wants to listen to it. But ultimately, ask yourself the question, is there anybody out there that can be right 100% of the time? And the answer's got to be no, right? So everybody offers their perspective on it. And then what we do, we're essentially got this big computer brain of ours that survives on input, put all of that information in there, and then we trot out our own version of it anyway. So for me, I'll sit here and talk all day long because it is one of my passions and I want to help people. But am I ultimately right? No, because this is where spiritual work, you've got to take into account that spirit will never tell you what to do, because they're non-coercive and non-judgmental. They'll show you lights on all pathways, and ultimately they will support and guide you, but they won't give you the answers. So this is where you retrieve as much energy as you can and just say, right, I need as much energy as I can back for me to complete all of my tasks, so that I'm not wasting my time on frivolous things. So this is now why I refuse to engage in fights and arguments with people, because I haven't got the interest. It would have to take something absolutely spectacular to get me back onto the front foot, because the day I left the prison service, that was me done, right? I'd had enough arguments, enough of backbiting and things like that. Okay, there's a little bit where I'm having to come out of that hiding place again, because there's one or two things there that are getting under my skin a little bit. And I'm going, right, it's horses for courses. So what I'm looking to do is to bring both sides of my personality together, where there is that aspect of you needing that earthly toughness, right, to just help you navigate your life's path, but also the spiritual. When there's an upgrade coming in, you need the strength and the resolve to actually go along that channel as well. So yeah, perspective, absolutely agree with you. CatScan, good evening, thanks very much for tuning in. I'm on fire today. Don't brakes, holy shit. That's not good when you're in a car, Annabelle. Oh my word. Oh, hope you're doing well, guys. Right. We've got an absolutely lovely lady in there, Emma Lou. I don't know whether she's doing a lot on YouTube at the moment, but please check out her channel, because I definitely advocate for it. Don't know how to do any links or anything, so do your own research. I'm sorry. I've got told off for saying to people that I'm useless with tech. I'm not useless, but I'm a little bit behind. I've still got my decap on my head. So I'm doing my best. I'm learning about editing and things like that as I go along. So here we go. Look at this. And I'll leave that up there for a second. Psychic News Universe. Dun, dun, dun. What I think I'll end up doing is volunteering to be voiceover man. Do you reckon there's a career in it for me, that I could just lower my voice an octave and say, live on YouTube today, Psychic News Universe. I mean, there's a lovely tagline coming in at the end as well. Catch you in the future. So can you just see that now? We've got hello, good evening and welcome. We're live, and catch you in the future. We'll have to see. We'll get some pizzazz with it, I think. Yeah, so it is going to be huge and fun. And we can have a online holiday party. I'm up for that. We'll have some of that. We'll have some of that. So guys, if you could hit that like button, because I tune in from StreamYard. I'm not actually on YouTube at the moment, so I can't see anything that's going on YouTube. I'll look at that later on. So if you wouldn't mind that, I really appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in, mate. I really appreciate that. Amazing your advice the other day, and it was nice, like you said, to point out that I did most of the talking, but it helped. So thank you for that. If you're on here, guys, and you're not on there, to quote Trevor Cool, if you've not subscribed, why not? It's free. Get across to the fitness such, because he's 200 and something short of 3,000 followers. This is where people like me that at 2.5, whatever it was when I started on here, take real solace in the fact of that I'm not as poor off as what I think with subscribers, because this time last year he was on 83, right? So if Paul can do it and apply himself, then I'm pretty sure that I can get some energy behind it and I can get myself where I want to be. I think part of what I've had to look at is that maybe restructuring my reality. I'm going to put as much effort into it as I can, but maybe my goals have shifted. That I'm not even considering about money anymore, or financing it or anything like that. I want as many people as we can get in, so that when we get these chats going, that we can build as much collective energy as we can, so that somebody coming in here might just need that little bit more healing than the next person. But I'm absolutely convinced that if we get that select band of people in here, we get this work going and we get this momentum going, we can help heal a lot of people. And that is truly at the heart of what I do. Hi, Fitty's Touch. Hope you're well. Here we go. That's it. A high tide raises all ships. The high tide raises all. Yeah, brilliant. And another fantastic lady that hopefully we'll catch up. Hopefully we'll catch up again very, very soon at Stonehenge or somewhere like that, where I don't know. That's the truth of the matter. I'm really juggling things at the moment. I hope I get there. Spirit have told me I am, so we'll just see how that goes. So I'm caught up on the comments, which is very, very unusual for me. All the best for the new show. I hope that made a bit of sense for you, Carney. So thanks for the comment. Right, I've got 10 people showing on us here. I'm quite happy to do card readings or answer any questions or delve deeper into what's been going on energetically and what's been happening. I want to make this very, very clear, right? I am not, when people are sending me their love and their healing, I'm not one of these that goes on to YouTube and Facebook and things like that and does what I call high hum posts, where they're going on there and they obviously want attention to something, so they put on their inbox me hum or hi hum, let me know and I'll message you, because truthfully it pisses me off, right? I'd rather come onto here and say to people, because I get a lot of people asking after my well-being, my welfare, how I'm going on, because they've seen me. And when you're energy sensitive, you can also notice around other people when they might be struggling with something. Truthful answer is, with all of it, without getting into any deeper into it, when my dad passed, right, grieving, and I say this many, many times over the course of when I'm working, is an entirely separate journey, whoever takes it. So some people will handle it in some ways and other people will handle it in different ways. There is no hard and fast rule on how you handle the grieving journey, right? So that I put to one side. However, what I wasn't prepared for was what it triggered within me. It was like every protective thing that I got around me that I knew how to do. So the little idiosyncrasies that I have to deal with on a daily basis, the agitation, sat there with me little beads and all of this sort of thing, so I don't gabble and all of this sort of stuff. And it was like all the dials suddenly become turned up to 100, and I've got no answers. The only thing that I got was a faith in the spiritual world that there was going to be a reason, there was going to be an explanation at some point. Now, it took me having like a temper tantrum, because that's what it was. Fortunately, it wasn't in the public eye. It was in my car where I was driving home from an event. But the answers now are starting to come in dribs and drabs. So you guys out there that are looking at doing spiritual work yourself, this is where my spiritual counselling head comes in, that not all the answers you're looking for are going to come in quick speed just because you want them there. They come in, for me, as much as you can cope with. Now, I'm looking at wholesale changes, wholesale changes in what I work, but at the core is still me, right? I love helping people. I love working with their energies. I'm a people pleaser at the end of the day, but what I've realized is how costly that can be if you don't start putting your own interests first. And what I mean by that, and I want to be very clear on this, is I'm not explaining or giving reason why I've suddenly gone within and I've started looking after myself a bit better. It's purely about because I haven't looked after myself at that really decent level. And I sit there and I tell many clients that self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And I've blatantly ignored all of that. And I've just found it now, when I've come to that real raw state, what I'm looking at, that everything is on the table for changes, and I've asked for it. That's the ironic thing. I've asked for these changes, but they're not coming in the way that I expected them. So now I've got to find a way, a strategy of coping with it all. Added to that, I strongly believe now that I've either got ADHD or neurodivergence. Now, again, with that, I'm not looking for people to sympathize with me. What I'm looking at is that's part of my pot, in my mind. What energy am I going to put to every different bit? So it's fighting on all fronts. And when it comes down to, that's what I'm good at. That's what goes in my background, because even if you're one of these people where your energy goes off all over the place, you're going to put some energy to something. But what all of this is about prioritizing your own well-being, your own welfare. Because it made me smile. I've done my level best to put out things onto this channel as well that will hit all aspects. What I'm actually looking at is reaching people that have got an interest in the tarot, or that have got an interest in mediumship, that have got an interest in mental health awareness and all of that lot, and try and hit all parts of it. And I put a short out the other day, which for me was an uplifting message, right? I got 10 likes for it and 3 dislikes. And I sat there, and normal form would be, oh, I've wasted my time. I've done something wrong there because I've had 3 people dislike. And then I think back to what I've said to other people. Look, people seek perfection all of the time, right? And it's very rarely found. And there was a comment on one of Trevor Cult's the other week that I might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm somebody's glass of whiskey. And that really stuck with me. But what I found ironic was that the people who dislike what I put out, when it's something uplifting there and it's about looking after yourself and doing your best to inspire yourself, why 3 people would take time out of their daily lives to dislike a comment that was about positivity? And that bit I haven't got an answer for. And like my daughter said to me, there are people out there, twisted people, strange people out there that get their kicks by just putting crap. And I'll be honest, while my arse points downwards, I'm not going to understand that those people's their mentality. But this is the thing. We work on the majority, right? So I'm aiming for the majority of people, and I ignore those comments. I just brought it up for reference because it was rattling around in my head. Just found it really strange. All right, I shall look forward to seeing you. Big hug on its way there, and I'd love a card. Right, we'll start there before I get off on my little tangent. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop a couple of tarot cards, and then I'm going to just tell you well, before I'll tell you before I get going. Right. So I am a magpie. I love shiny stuff. I love glittery stuff. And I love tarot cards. But there's times when I've gone for tarot cards where I've sat with them and truthfully, they've just not felt right with me. And I love oracle cards. So about 3 years ago, I bought, and I hope we can just get that in camera shot away from the shine there, Eyes of the Soul oracle cards, right? Absolutely stunning. And I had them on a shelf, which is just above my head up there, of all of the tarot cards that I've collected, oracle cards that I've collected. And I was walking past them as I was going to an event, and Spirit said to me, take them with you. And I thought, well, I've had no practice with them. I've no turn them out. They're quite a shamanic deck, but the artwork is just incredible. And what's been amazing is I've took them out on these little tarot runs that I've been going on, and I've been picking them. But I've left the card right till the end of the reading. So how I tend to work when I'm doing a full reading is 5 tarot cards, 3 angel oracle cards, and at the end there's a Doreen Virtue sort of. It's an oracle tie-up, but it's more angelic than the other cards. And then have these 2 or 3 cards just face down at random, and then at the end, just turn them over and just. I'm astonished by the accuracy of the energy that I found around them. So your tarot cards, Alison. Before I go off on a tangent, right? I don't know what's going on. But as you know, with me, blunt, honest, and probably too blunt and honest, but there's something around you. We've got the 8 of Cups there coming in that we need to walk away, conserve our energy, and walk away into a new dawn, into new energetic surroundings. Because I like my little stories with my tarot cards there. And we've got cups there in disarray. So that's emotions there that you've been working on for a long time, because as we're at 8, we're at that stage where we're heading towards the 10, which is all about completion. We've got the orange there, which is all about the sacral chakra, and the sacral chakra is all about your intuition. And if you've had my little stories before, you know that that is the place that is your drive, it's your sexuality, it's everything that makes you you, it's your intuitive center. But it's also, and this is the thing that people sometimes miss, because it's located around the gut area, it is the waste processing center. So let the body do its natural thing and get rid of the old crap, right? Because if you've got old crap circulating in the system, that for me blocks the whole chakra system from rotating as it's meant to do. So there's something there that you're either reluctant or you're not quite seeing it on its most honest footing at the moment, that you need to let go of and put in my famous fuck it bucket and move on. And I get that beautiful South song in my head when I'm working there of carry on regardless. So it may well be related to your job. It may be related to relationships in some way or another, where we've just got to bid it a fond farewell and just go, despite my best efforts, it's not panned out in the way that I wanted it to. So it's time to walk away whistling. The other card that you've got there is another one of the cards that I like. It's the Devil, right? And the Devil actually started out as a figure of fun in the tarot deck, because it's representing the pagan god Pan. Now, when people see the Devil card, there's a lot of fear attached to it, unless you come to a reader like me who just straight away says it's not what you imagine. The Devil is all about things that you've got yourself tied to, what you've changed yourself to, where you've got bogged down in your belief system. So I think it's the Rider-Waite deck, you've actually got 2 blocks with a male and a female actually chained to these blocks. So it's something that you've got stuck into. In my deck, it's all about overindulgence. Things that you do into an excess because you're actually masking what you don't want to face up to. So I look at the old army mentality whenever I'm dealing with anything to do with cards and spirituality, and I go, right, KISS, which is basically keep it simple, stupid. Don't over worry, don't overanalyze. If you're finding a painful situation that you're not looking at, because there we're looking, I said about masking, his vision is not clear because he's got it covered by that visor. At some point, you've got to take the rose-colored glasses off, be a little bit tough, and maybe make some decisions that benefit yourself more than what you're doing at the minute. So my word for you is be a bit more selfish. Right? Be a bit more selfish. Put you first, because with the job that you left and everything that you've left behind, it does have an impact on you. And, you know, it takes some process. So you need all of the healing you can get as well. So where he's saying about that lovely deck of cards, right? So we've got them there. He says, picking the book up by mistake. All right. So beautiful artwork. Very shamanic. Right. And the card for you. Right. So new learning for you, I think. I think you've got stuff to open up with your shamanic journey, open up with your new guides. And don't be so analytical. Don't be so thinky, because what this card is saying here is be curious and look deeper. So what the Dr. Psychic's going to say is what I prescribe for you is meditation and slowing the mind down, Alison. So I hope that makes a bit of sense for you. Right, I'm positively on fire today. Is it the coffee or spirit lighting me up? I tell you, there's a mix with your energy, Anna, because you're naturally like that anyway. And it's like me. I can be having the shittiest day mindset wise, you know, being a bit flat. But the thing that's carried me through all of this is wanting to do this on a bigger scale, reach more people. So we had a conversation, as I say, off air about clients. I truthfully, I'm going to sit here and I've got no reason to lie. I don't really have that many clients. I can't say that I have a client list. What I have is the opportunity to go to many different venues, do stand up on stage and things like that, and read for people. And off the back of that, sometimes when I do the Facebook lives, I'll get a couple of people that come in. But, you know, there's no part of me that's going to say, oh, darling, I can't read for you today. I've got far too, you know, because it's just not real. It's just not real. What's great now, though, is that events are starting to build up. People have seen the way that I work. They like my honesty and the integrity, and they put my name forward for things. So I get people that ring me up to go and do events or go to fairs that I've not experienced before, because what you see is what you get. The reason I wear all of this is out of professionalism. It was also a place to hide behind, but when you haven't got something to hide behind, where do you go with it? So this is the element that I know that I'm switched on. And as soon as this goes on, this is my signal for me to light up as well. I wouldn't say it's the coffee. I'm not a coffee fan, so it definitely don't work for me. But the reason you can't stop smiling is because you know deep down when you're tuning into your energies what we're about to embark on. I remember, and this is just for reference, don't think I've lost my head or anything like that. I love the sitcom Friends. You'll probably be a lot more familiar with it being in America. But when it started, I was a bit like, I don't know whether I'm going to be into this. And I got into it about 6 episodes in on the first series. And then I got glued to it. I just loved the way that they all knitted together. And one of the, I can't remember which one of them actually said that when they started out, the producers and the executive producers took them all out to a shopping mall when they were first starting out, and they were looking at costumes and things that they were going to wear for the show. And one of the producers said to the stars, enjoy this, because I think this is going to be one of the last times that you're going to be able to walk through this mall unnoticed. And they they weren't dismissive, but they just sort of took it as it was, because it was an unknown element. And I'm picking up a similar sort of vibration in my head from my guys that are going, that this is going to take off. And like you said, I think what it will do is it will give a basis for what you're trying to achieve, but also like a lift platform where it's kind of like this. It'll not be a standalone type of thing for each individual, but it will be a launch pad for many different things. And this is where my heart's in it, because I think, well, if we get that launch pad, then we can reach more people. If we can reach more people, we can get more people helping more people. And the collective energy is what I think is going to help the world in general. And it's not about ego, and it's not about being big-headed or anything like that. It is what I honestly believe in. Right, let me just have a look at some of these comments before I disappear off on a tangent. Like to keep us on the toes, never give you what you need in a predictable way. Right, really glad to. Right, what I did with that, I basically said to them, so I've built my work up on being, as I say, honest and straightforward with them, that if I don't understand something, I put that out to the spirit world and wait for the answer to come back. I've always been taught about right and divine timing, and it'll come in when it's meant to, and that I'm a good advocate for spirit and all of that lot, and I've got the promise for this, that, and the other. Right, great. Happy days. Thought, brilliant. And then it comes to the point, and I had a conversation with somebody else about this. Right, okay, but, and this is where we have to keep in reality. I'm a spirit worker, but this is my job now. Right, and all of the best will in the world, all of the nice thoughts, the fact that you're helping somebody, good wishes don't buy bread loaves. So I turned around and I was very blunt and honest about this, said to the spirit world as I was closing down from this particular event, right, this has got to stop. Right, I understand that not everything can come in at speed, But if you're telling me that I'm good enough to do this, then I've got to start seeing some returns from it, because at the minute I'm not getting enough to get by. And if I'm not getting enough to get by, I'm going to revert to my base tactics, which is looking after my family. I'm a family man, and I will go out and get a job. Like, make no bones about it. This is not a threat. This is not a tantrum. If it's not going to pay me to do it, I've got to go out and find something that does. And I've been fully self-employed with this for the last 18 months. So I wanted a sure sign. And despite that meltdown, spirit have come through. There's been some stuff starting to come through. So I don't have to find a job at this moment in time. So I'm not even putting that onto my timeline. So we were talking about earlier about where the thought goes, the energy flows to. So I'm not even giving that the avenue of opportunity to open up. This is my pathway. But every now and again, it really is good to put your point forward, because remember, spirit, yeah, okay, the vibration's higher than ours, but we're working together. There's a lot of people that, I'm not saying you make a mistake, please don't misunderstand it, and this is just my thoughts, that people, when you get your head up that way and going, oh, spirit and all of this sort of business, and it's coming through and wonderful and all of this, like, all you're going to get is a crick in the neck. So if you can pull spirit, raise your energy and vibration up to the spiritual world and be co-pilots, just think of the progress you're going to be made. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent again. Same, I've had to put me first before my job on it. Others, I had to tell spirit to back off because I'm not well. I now have a routine with my, yeah. But the question, it's interesting you mentioned that, because the question I asked in my version of meditation the other day was, why do we have to get to the lowest ebb with things before we make a breakthrough? Why is it that we get to the point of chucking it all in because we haven't got the life's balance? And that answer came in loud and clear, because when you're at rock bottom or you're in that flat space, there's nowhere else for you to go other than upwards. Because if you're at rock bottom, you accept that in your mind. I've lost all hope. I've lost all ideas. I don't know what's going to happen. You accept that in the mindset. So there's got to be something that then comes in, and this is where I throw in and then what, right? So if I've accepted that I'm at a really low ebb, right, and I said that that's my stated fact, right, what's next? Because life is ever flowing, it's ever evolutionary. So we're moving on. So I thought, bloody hell, I've said this often enough. So I hit rock bottom, but what I made the decision was I'm not staying there. So I'm then looking for the strategy to climb out. And what life gives you is the opportunity to learn from past mistakes. And just, well, if you're presented with the same opportunity, don't go down the same path again. So I realized that I can't keep giving my energy away to everything. I need to learn the word no. Yet again, something that I've said to many, many people. So I absolutely agree with you. Prioritize yourself, because at the end of the day, you're a battery. And a battery with limited energy, and sometimes batteries go flat. And when spiritual workers go flat, we end up poorly, right? We end up laid out, and then we're no good to man the beast. So I absolutely agree with you. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Couldn't have put it better myself. People leave negative feedback because there are issues. Yeah, and that was the other thing. And again, all of these answers are coming swirling through. So I absolutely agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Hi, Charlie. Hope you're well. Would love a card reading, please. So if I don't get too far behind. Yes. All right. Let's crack on. Let's do them. Because I'm listening to what Trevor has said as well, that don't go on for longer than an hour because people get bored. But with this, I'm still only like 10, 11 months into this, seriously putting this channel together. So I'm probably being a little bit impatient with myself, because one of my friends the other day, who does a lot more work on TikTok and things like that, says to achieve what you've achieved, especially in the genre that you're in over that short space of time, is incredible. So I've not seen it that way. I just thought, it stopped. And he's going, no, it'll take time to bed in. Right, Tara, are you still on? So I'll just scan through these things. Tara, are you still there? Are you still there? Tara, let me know if you're still on, because I'll say I've just let these comments get past me a little bit quick. Just let me know if you're still there. Just holding on for a second to see if Tara's still on there. He's still with me. Give me a sign. Knock on the wood. Coming in. Yay! Brilliant. Right. I don't know whether you're going to like this delivery, but to be truthful, it's my channel, so I'm going to deliver it anyway. Right. I don't know whether the expert Anna's still on, so I'm a little bit when I deliver. Right. I don't do darkness or negativity, but what I do is that I'm a spiritual arse kicker. That if there's something there that is going on that needs challenging, you can be damn sure that me as a reader and an energy worker is going to walk you through it. Right. So the Ace of Swords. Right. I am going to give you the definition as I've been taught it through the cards when I got them. So the Ace of Swords is being in that place now where we're cutting through illusions, because swords is about air. Swords is the matter of the mind, the intellect, and how you process information. So we've got this battle mode. We've got lots of things that are coming at us, and we're not quite sure what side we're going to put a foot down. So my granddad had a very funny saying that was, put your foot down with a firm hand. And basically what he means is checking your stance, placing yourself solidly, and just, we spoke about boundaries earlier on in those messages, and this is about setting things in place there where you put your boundaries down so that people now no longer know that you're going to be, you're not going to be a pushover anymore. You know, you've done your time in the trenches. Now it's the time to sort of stand up and just go, right, this stops. Right. So the Ace of Swords is known as triumph over adversity. So essentially, you're going to win eventually. But because it's only got the power of an ace, we've got a lot of structure to put in before it has any ground. It's like putting the foundations in. Right. How I read this is the Ace of Swords, and it's a beautiful looking card there, is my bullshit detector. So when spirit come in for me, I get this symbol, and I call them chippers. So look out for the people around you that are full of lots of ideas, lots of air, lots of crap, right? But their words and their actions don't match up. So this is like, basically, I'm not saying have a fight or an argument with anybody, but is recognizing when somebody's taking you for a mug and just putting it down. And it can be something as simple as just somebody taking advantage of a kind nature. Right. Add a bit of steel to it and just go, right, it stops. I've seen that. You're taking the mick. Whatever, however you communicate. Blue on it's all about communication in the throat chakra. And I just sense at the minute around your energies that there's a little bit of nerves going on about the future. Well, before we build on anything, we've got to have the proper foundation. So this is calling out any shite around you, getting rid of any of the rubbish that you're thinking. You know, find that lovely bucket of mine that I'm not going to keep swearing about, but you know where it is. Fill it up and get rid of it, because you've got magic coming in. So the Eight of Pentacles is what is known as the apprenticeship card. So this is, we should be looking towards the end of the year about ways of making and increasing our money and finances. So Pentacles for me represent money, finances, enrichment, and a lovely saying that I was given recently, non-material wealth. So non-material wealth is the investment in yourself that will pay off at a later date. So we've got to clear the decks. We've got to get things organized because it's showing study there. And I see with the cobwebs there, and I see the cobwebs as a representation of time. So at the beginning, we might have to sort of burn the candle at both ends while we get things adjusted. So you might be doing study and work, or you might be doing night school or something like that. But I just get this sense that it's one of them where I want to go, this year's your year, but you've got to start somewhere, okay? So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Bit short and sweet, so I hope that made sense. I used to do readings on Facebook and then get a mega reading and I'd be on for overnight. Yeah, truthfully, yeah, I agree. But what I've been finding as well, the other thing is when I involve Facebook with it, and I've been on there for 6 years now doing readings, is that because the spammers go over there and Facebook do bugger all about them, you've got to change your settings on there so that they can't add, because I always care about the people that are watching. I don't want them being spammed by these bots and these other people that come on. And plus, like when they're using your name, Facebook don't remove them. So as soon as you've gone off, if you don't monitor what's going on and change the settings on it, they could be getting bugged days after. And I had one lady in particular that was really distraught, and to a point, it cost me having a full reading with her because she actually believed that this reading that was being offered unscrupulously or something like that. And I went, no, I said, I wouldn't offer a free reading, and I certainly wouldn't ask you for your bank details unless you contacted me. And as you haven't contacted me, it's nothing to do with me. So a friend spoke up for her and said, right, you need to contact him direct. I'll give you his email address. And she couldn't even do that. So what I ended up doing to untangle all of that was I got her on a Zoom call, right, away from Facebook and all of that sort of thing. And I just went, right, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to do you a reading. I'm not going to talk about money, right? I'll tell you what my price is. If the reading's okay for you and you get what you need from it, I'll charge you, right? And then I will send you bank details across. If it's made you feel uncomfortable or upset you in any way whatsoever, then no charge. Right? I'll just take that as a learning lesson. But I shouldn't have even had to have been in that position, because YouTube, Facebook, whatever, should always back the people that are on there. They should make the people safe. But like Annabelle was saying there, the thing is all engagement is engagement for them as well. So it generates numbers, it generates interest. So it's a strange conundrum to actually be in. All right. I need to start putting my feet. Yeah. Putting your foot down with a firm hand. My husband smelt. Right. Yeah, absolutely. The start of my journey with all of this was smelling cigarette smoke in my car when I was driving to the prison. So my daily commute was 43 miles each way. And you get to a certain point where you cross over one main road and onto a motorway. And I was heading up this motorway, and it seemed to be the same sort of area where this strong smell of cigarette smoke kept coming in my car. I've still not identified it to this day. It comes around every now and again now. So whoever it is, I'm not entirely sure who brings it in. But what I like about it is it brings in comfort. So, and it's usually when something needs, I don't know, like a bit of an arse kicking, or there's been an impact in some way or another. We smell this cigarette smoke, and it's just a nice feeling that comes in around with it. So I absolutely love that protection and that feeling that spirit are still around me. So let me just keep looking at this. Do you know what? I'm not a big fan of the word namaste, but what I'm going to say to you, Charlie, and I hope I pronounce that right, is bless you for that. Right? I don't come on here fishing for compliments. I truly don't do that. But thank you. Because at the minute, I'm not 100% where I want to be, but that's because of what I'm experiencing. The mind is active 100% of the time, from waking up to going to sleep. And what I have to do when I'm working in here is to slow my energy down. And all I can do with that is just go, look, if I'm struggling with something, I say I'm struggling. If I'm on fire, like Annabelle is there, I'm on fire. There doesn't seem to be any like middle ground with it. All I can say is that I give everything, and it's just genuinely how I feel. I wouldn't know in this genre how to be dishonest, because even if I cold read somebody, where in which case where you're looking at somebody for facial reaction, say I'm doing a face-to-face with them, and I'm not picking anything up energetically, I will throw in some keywords with people, and then I'll see how they react. But I tell them I'm doing that because what I'm looking to do, with being an ex-prison officer, what I was an expert on was keys. I could open doors really, really quick because over 10 years I was doing it, open a lot of doors. So you get the key in the lock, and quite often what people need is that little bit of a shove to go through that door and confront and deal with. And I go in with them and I deal with that. So I'm experiencing that for myself on my own for the first time. And God, is it weird? It really is. It's nice to be reminded. Yeah, it really is. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I agree with that as well. All I can say is that I just do my best. There's no airs and graces with me. What I've learned now is to go, I'm not embarrassed by that. But that for me, I think for the rest of my life is going to be constant maintenance, because even if I got up on stage and I'm being paid huge sums of money, which I don't, but if I did, I'd remember what built me. I'd remember what my background is. I'd remember that at the end of the day, when it all comes down to, I'm a lad from Lincoln, and I came from a council estate, and that's it. You know, there's no airs and graces with me. What you see is what you get. The sort of personality element has been as a shield. It's what I'm realizing now is when you haven't got that shield there. So let's just make sure I haven't missed anything there. Same for me, money. Yeah, it's one of them. You'll never go short. They'll always look after you. Used to do. Yeah, we've done that one. We've done that one. Yeah, we've done that one. Right, let's do Dizzy J if you're still there. I don't want to be on much longer because, to say, the advice that was given, and wife is not got a tea yet, so I want to make sure she's got a cup of tea when she gets back from her exercise class. And she said, "Don't worry, because I know you'll still be gabbing when I get in." So, for anybody who's not familiar with what gabbing is, it's over talking, which is what I'm very famous for. Oh wow, you won't believe this. Dizzy J, you would not believe this. Right. So we've got the Ace of Swords again. So same explanation, right? Without the bit around the feeling. Right. Cut to the chase. Whatever's going on around you, because what's been put into my mind as I work with your energy is smoke screens. So you might be having somebody around you that's behaving in a different way to what they used to do. But I feel like you're being misled or manipulated in some way, so that it's almost like the magician with the sleight of hand. That's the image I've got in my mind. So there's an element of misdirection going on around you. So cut to the chase. Say to people, right, what is it that you expect from me? Be blunt, be direct, be honest, and then make a decision. Because my obsession these days is that if somebody's got something like that to bring to me, right, you've got till the time that the kettle boils, because I want a cup of tea. You got one opportunity to tell me the truth, or ask me for my help, or tell me what it is that you expect of me. And once that kettle's boiled, done. Because that's about as long as my interest stays in it. And practically, I feel, because we've got a wands card here, which is all about practicalities and about your daily life and everything that affects your daily life. The red is the root chakra, which is your foundations. That you're about to do something there that you're going to have to do the first few steps on your own, because we've got the 7 of wands there, and that wands there shows me having to stand up for myself, having to put myself in that position where I explain myself. Again, limited capacity with me, limited interest with me to actually do that. So I will go in and I will speak to people. If I want help, I'll ask them for the help. If it's not forthcoming, I'll go, right, okay, I told you it was happening. All right, come with me or don't, but that's your choice. So cutting through the bullshit, cutting through that smoke screen, being prepared to defend yourself when you launch something that are out of other people's comfort zone, but don't be distracted by any of the flat flying, because it'll be okay. Right, just a quick pull of a card for you there as well. And we've got, you wouldn't believe it, right? I've just pulled that right out of the middle. Be curious and look deeper. So your journey with spirit is about to take a big upward curve. Be ready. I said to a lady yesterday when I was reading for her, says, have a spare pair of knickers packed up, because you never know when you're going to take off. So just bear in mind that that's what I've said. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Right. So Alison Turnbull, did we do you a card? We haven't, have you? Right. So I'm gonna get this last 2 on here. That's what makes you good. Oh, bless you. Thank you. I'll just highlight that comment, Charlie, because I didn't feel like I was any good, but I did my best. It was an environment for an empathic person who didn't know he was empathic that really struggled with the sort of violent side of it. I became proficient at doing that when I was called upon, but I hated it. I really didn't enjoy that side of things, but you go down the gym, you get involved in that sort of macho bravado type of thing. But then at a moment's notice, you've also got to step in and deal with people who are harming themselves. And it was very difficult, but the less said about that on the better. Right, very quickly. Yeah, very quickly. Let's have a good shuffle because we don't want to get the same cards again. And I was watching somebody there who I did a reading for the other night, and they said, "I want to pull you a card." And I went, "Yeah, great, fine, thank you." And they started shuffling cards like they were a croupier. It was so funny, and I'm like, "That my shuffling's not like that." Oh, right. So I'm just seeing now we've got a little bit of an emotional blockage at the moment. We've got thoughts either that have not been expressed clearly, or there's something that you need to get off your chest, because we've got the Six of Swords there. So we've got past the point of where we haven't got the full picture, but we've just not given ourselves permission to move forward. So this lady's on the boat there with all of the swords, which is basically she's coming into calmer water. So we talked about moving on emotionally in the earlier card. What this one's talking about is like taking note of the impact that recent events are having on you, calming and collecting your thoughts, and knowing that it's now time to move on, and it's a good time to move on. But like I say, if you think about swords literally, and they cut you because they're a weapon, and something's affected your thoughts, it's affected your way of life and things like that, it's going to have an impact. So we need to take time out and heal with that. Once you've done that, we've got a fantastic card coming in for you, which is the known as the Harvest card. So we have got there for you the Seven of Pentacles. The word in my mind is reap what you sow. So when I'm looking at this, Pentacles, money, finances, riches, enrichment, and non-material wealth, as I explained earlier. So this is about ways of increasing your money, increasing your investments in yourself. And the message at the end of that is always plow back in what you want to yield into the next year. So this is about what seed you're planting financially over these next couple of years, I feel. So don't go too wide with it. Don't go too wild with it, but always put yourself in that forefront there. So if you need new training, you need new learning, you want a job, always put yourself forward as being the best you that you can be. Because at the end of the day, you're a unique, talented individual. Just sometimes you just need that push to remember that. So investment in yourself and moving forward into that clearer thought space. Okay. Yeah, bless you. All right. I send you out my love and healing energy for you there, Charlie. So thank you very much. It's very hard when that. Yeah, it is. Right. One thing I'm just gonna say on that. I'll just do Alison a card and then I shall wrap this up. I say this, right. There's lots of people out there that have got advice and guidance on how to deal when a loved one's passed away, literally, and left this mortal coil. But I've not heard many people that talk about what I call live grieving. And that's when you're down here, when you've lost a relationship, your job's gone pear-shaped, your partner's gone, anything like that. There is that moment where that space needs filling in with something, because what you've had and what you've had leaning on you, what you've had supporting you is now no longer relevant anymore. So you need to take time to grieve the loss of that particular relationship. So in essence, what we're saying to you is just be kind while those feelings stabilize. Not saying that you'll get over it instantly, but you need to find a platform that you can now build upon. And by doing that, it's strengthening your resolve and dealing with things like the emotional upset and knock-on effects of what's happened to you, but just taking the time out that you would allow anybody else to do. So that's my version of live grieving. So yes, it is a difficult lesson, but when you're learning that lesson, don't learn it again. Right? This is where I have to be honest with people. Learn it once, but recognize the signs if it's ever about you again, because all the mind will do is repeat the lesson until you actually get it. Okay. So thank you very much. Yeah. That's why I wanted to explain that to you. Yeah. But it's still the same, because you're still grieving the loss of what you had. And it's that emotional upheaval, that emotional turbulence. At the end of the day, that gap's got to be filled in. Yeah. And like I found here, not everything is about people that have literally passed away. This is where sometimes we just need to purge our feelings, go with those emotions and let them out, which is the same sort of thing as grieving and being upset and letting the tears flow, or just finding a way of getting that stale energy out of your system. So absolutely right. So Alison, there we go. Thank you very much, guys. I've gone on longer than I expected, but Mrs. P knew this. So I am going to make this the last one. Remember, guys, what I'm saying as well, that we're taking on this fantastic new venture. We're filming tomorrow. I am told that the interview will hit YouTube on Friday. I am available for readings if anybody wants readings with me, but that will be into next week, because I have got a couple of events coming up at the weekend, and I'm also busy setting up an event, because I go out there and I help set the tables up and put the signage out and all of that sort of thing, and I'm the labourer for the day. So my next couple of days are going to be quite busy. But say keep tuning in, like and subscribe. I really appreciate the support. And that card's gone flying off there, so we need it. My back's playing up today, so didn't need that stretch, but there we go. Right. Right. I don't know whether you're looking at a new job or a new venture or a new business idea. We had the ace there, which was talking about the swords and cutting through the illusion. We've now got the practical element of the wands. The wands is about fire. Fire for me links into fuel. When I look at this card, I see opportunities to enhance my daily life. It could be a job, it could be promotion, it could be a business idea, it could be moving house, anything like that. Basically, this is like carving out what you want. And what it's telling you is get your practical head on, because it will impact your root chakra, which is your foundations. It's where your strength is. So if you've got anything around you currently, look out for signs. If you want changes, be sure to open your heart to it and make that effort and bring that closer to you, because what the message of that card is, you can achieve anything you want by the power of your hands. So I see that as a beacon as well, of lighting your path as well. So that for me is opportunities. I mean, it used to be with that tarot card, it used to talk about opportunities by phone, fax, and the job centre and all that sort of thing. But it's no longer the case, because we live in this throwaway society. News comes in and goes in a flash. So when these opportunities come in, if that's the pathway that you want to tread, don't hesitate, don't procrastinate, go for it. Get that fire behind you, get that burning in the pit of your stomach, and get behind yourself. And we've got the Three of Cups, and because she's been on here, I'll credit her with what I'm going to come out with next. This is Annabelle's Gal Pal tribe. Right, so we've got the Three of Cups, which is that element of bringing everybody together, that social aspect of things. Maybe it's just a family get together, whatever it is, where we emotionally support one another. We bring in all of that energy together as a force, and then we make those moves forward emotionally. Power of a 3 is limited, because it's only at the start of the tarot journey, but it's one of those that we all add a little bit in. And on that, I'm going to say thank you very much to everybody that tuned in. I am very, very grateful. And I truthfully mean that. And however this journey takes off or whatever, I remember these nights when we sat there with 5, 6, 10 people, as it's been tonight. And I'll still be in this state of gratitude, because if it all goes wrong, I've still got a family, I've got a roof over my head and food in my belly. So I'm a happy boy. So I send out my love. I send out my best wishes to you. And what I'm going to end with is just what I'm just trying to put out there is a little bit of a catchphrase there. So keep shining and don't sweat the small stuff. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And I will catch you on the next one. Good night and God bless.